On February 24th, Russia began their invasion of Ukraine by destroying military targets. It's been 19 days since the invasion began, and Ukraine is still holding out, despite the attempts by Russia to completely obliterate them, destroying city after city, building after building, even firing on civilians. Russia's plan to take the capital of Kyiv and install a puppet leader, quick and easy, has failed. They have been met with harsh resistance. The armed forces of Ukraine claims they have killed 12,000 Russian soldiers, while the US claims that they have killed 6,000 Russian soldiers. Not sure really who to exactly believe, but I would say I believe America more than Ukraine, because Ukraine obviously is trying to gain something by saying they killed more than they did, or vice versa. You never really know. We're not on the ground there, so an estimate's all we really have. Russia's claims on troop losses are a complete lie. They say they lost like 500 troops, which is completely bogus. Anyone with a brain can figure out that Russia is all propaganda and all lies. Since the fighting began, Russia has lost 374 tanks and over 1,200 armed combat vehicles, says the General Staff of Ukraine Armed Forces. I had to read that off here because I obviously can't remember that off the top of my head. Ukraine has had losses as well. The US government claims that Ukraine has lost between 2,000 and 4,000 troops. Ukraine says they lost around 1,300. I'm gonna say I believe America on this. It's probably more up into like the 4,000 range, 6,000 range. Probably around 4,000. You never really know because we're not on the ground there, and it's hard to count bodies when there's fighting going on. I believe Putin made his final decision on invading Ukraine because of Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Let me get this straight. I do not believe pulling out of Afghanistan was a mistake. It was just a mistake the way he did it. Biden pulled troops out of Afghanistan without evacuating the people, without evacuating the embassy. Yes, he may have believed that the country wasn't going to fall. He claimed before it fell, around a month before it fell, that it was not going to fall, that he didn't believe it was going to fall. And it fell. His judgment is clearly not very good on these issues. Biden left billions of dollars worth of military equipment in Afghanistan, basically making the Taliban, a bunch of terrorists, one of the most heavily armed countries. I'll put a picture of the stats of how much stuff we lost somewhere around my head. I don't know, somewhere here. Somewhere. Not too long after he pulled troops out of Afghanistan, we had to send them right back because the Taliban were pushing towards the capital. It's just idiotic the way things were handled, and I think a child could have done better. But we got what we got. The Taliban offered him Kabul, but he decided instead of defending the city that he wanted to defend an airport, which was strategically stupid. Defending an airport, I guess he thought because it was a smaller area it'd be easier to defend. But if we would have had a perimeter around the city, things would have been easier. Guarding the city would make sure no one's going in there that could do damage, like ISIS-K. ISIS-K, sadly, tragically, killed 13 service members in a suicide bombing. And people say, oh, it wasn't Biden's fault. Yeah, this was clearly Biden's fault because he made a mistake. Anyone would have handled this better. I think Obama would have handled this better than Biden. It's just a disastrous mistake that you can't go back and fix. That's why his approval rating immediately dropped afterwards and has not recovered. The Afghanistan disaster is exactly why Putin decided to act at this time. Now, Ukraine has not fallen like Afghanistan, because unlike Afghanistan, the leader of Ukraine has stayed in the country to fight. The Afghanistan leader fled in a helicopter full cash. When the leader stayed, it set a good example for the people of the country. People in Afghanistan, they didn't want to be free because they didn't fight back. They gave up. They fled to other countries. Their whole security force we trained for years, just ran away, not willing to fight. But Ukraine has stayed, and they have thought. They've thought hard against Russia. They are true patriots. Like Trump or not, I'm just going to say it. This would not have happened under Trump. Say what you want, Putin and Trump are friends, they're buddies, whatever. But this did not happen under Trump. We had no new wars under Trump. Trump would threaten on Twitter like he did to Kim Jong-un about the whole button thing, which was hilarious. Trump was not a pushover like Biden is. Biden's just weak. I mean, I don't want a nuclear war, but I mean, if Biden basically sits there and say, even if you're going to use chemical weapons, we're not going to strike back, which is ridiculous. I mean, I don't want World War III, but if someone's using chemical weapons on people, that's just wrong. Although I believe Biden may have caused this issue in the beginning, I do believe that Biden's approach is not too bad so far. I mean, he may be weak on issues, and basically, we're not going to strike you if you use chemical weapons, but I agree with giving the weapons and us not getting involved. I do not want to be directly involved because it would lead to World War III. And we do not need World War III. Nukes start dropping, no one will survive. The planet's doomed, we will go into a nuclear winter. Animals won't survive, there won't be anything left. So we need to try our best to avoid this. So continue supplying them with weapons. But when the door closes and we can no longer supply them with weapons, there's not much more we can do unless we get directly involved, which could lead to World War III. We're giving Ukraine the munitions to fight. Let's just hope things end without us having to fight. If they could just come to an agreement, which needs to happen, I just wish they would sit down and talk more. They've been doing it, but still haven't agreed to end this fight yet. I don't care if you're on the right or left. No one should be siding with Putin. Putin is a dictator. Putin is acting like a fascist. If you're in Russia and you protest this war, you get arrested. If you say anything about it on the internet, they can go after you. Well, you can't even get on the internet now. Blocking off all communications with the outside world because they don't want people to hear the truth. That they are attacking another nation. And there's people on the right that'll defend Putin. I will not defend a dictator. He's not a communist. He's not a socialist. He's not a capitalist. He is a fascist. Putin had his political opponent poisoned. And when the poison didn't work, he threw him in jail. If that's not a fascist, I don't know what is. He's changed the rules so that he can stay in power. He has a grip over everything. His parliament doesn't even fight back against him. He's basically all-powerful ruler. He's not like a president. He is a dictator. And no conservative, once again, I'll state this, no conservative, no liberal, no libertarian should be siding with him. And I know a lot of libertarians want to say that we should not be involved in this at all. But what example does it set if we allow one country to start taking other countries over? And then some people say, well, it belongs to Russia. No, it doesn't belong to Russia. The people do not want to be a part of Russia. The areas that speak Russian may want to, like the breakaway regions, but the rest of the country is fought back. Even the civilians are fighting. So that argument goes out the window. I believe we need to supply them with weapons once again, but not get directly involved. This crisis is not just affecting Ukrainians, it is affecting Americans. Before this even happened, we had record high gas prices. Biden tries to claim that it's all Russia's fault why we have high gas prices. It's not because of Russia completely. It's because of Biden. We already had record high gas prices under him because he shut the supply line of oil in the US, basically gutting our independence. We should be providing ourselves with oil. We shouldn't be providing the world with it. We shouldn't be buying it. We should be energy independent. And that's exactly the point I'm trying to make here. Before the Ukraine stuff happened, about over a month ago, gas was about $3.70 here, which is ridiculous. And that was before the Ukraine stuff. Then after the Ukraine stuff, now it's like $4.50.
So clearly it was already on the rise before this Afghanistan stuff. I mean, Ukraine stuff. I hope I didn't say that more than once.
Ukraine, not Afghanistan. I just pulled a Joe Biden there. So him saying that it's all Russia's fault is not true. We need to be energy independent. Elon Musk even said that we need to do more fracking. Even though he said he doesn't like that idea, we need to do more fracking. We need to get these prices down. And the Keystone Pipeline would have been 1 year closer to being finished. We do not know what Putin's mental state is. I'm hoping that these sanctions aren't pushing him to a point that he lashes out with nuclear weapons. That's what I'm most worried about. I don't know if he's going to get mad and decide, oh, I'm going to just nuke you because I can't win. Or if he's going to decide to negotiate and end this conflict, which should have never happened in the first place. And I'm not going to put all the fault on Biden, because even under Obama, Russia took a piece of Ukraine. The best outcome is diplomacy. Ukraine needs to give, I hate to say this, but they need to give up Crimea, which Russia has asked for. They've already controlled it 10 years. They took it under Obama. The 2 breakaway regions, which broke away on their own, well, with some Russian help, undercover Russian help, they give up those. They agree not to join NATO, which NATO's already denied them because they don't want World War III. Agree to that. I believe Russia needs to agree to this. Pay for the damage they caused so Americans don't have to pay for it. And agree not to attack them anymore. And I know it might not be as simple as that, but that's what I'm hoping for. The Ukrainian soldiers have been very patriotic. Sadly, we've lost that in America. If the Ukrainians are willing to fight, give them what they need to fight. That's how I believe. You may believe differently. That's your opinion. We can talk in the comments below. Just keep it civil. That's it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Leave a comment, subscribe for more, hit that notification bell. And if you're new here, just subscribe, man. We have fun here. Okay, guys, don't forget to keep electrified, and as always, I'll see y'all later.